Hey, everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with today's edition of Today in Sports Betting. Scott, what day is it?
Hump Day.
It is Hump
A
Day.
special edition of NFL Hump Day, I might add.
Wow, no kidding. It's Wednesday football for the first time, I don't know, in a long time. I saw it written somewhere, Scott. Have they played on Wednesdays ever before?
I'm sure they have.
Yeah.
I can't remember when, but crazier things have happened.
I'm sure there was a reason. How about a 4:45 Eastern time start for this game?
Well, you got to make sure you finish it before the lighting of the Christmas tree. So, you got to hurry it up.
That's just phenomenal to me that they have to.
Apparently, the Christmas tree lighting ceremony got 6 million people to watch it last year. Who the hell's watching a Christmas tree lighting?
I don't know, man.
I don't get it. If you want it, you can do it at home. Like I don't know why you need to see them light up a big tree when most of you are going to have your own tree at home anyway. So I don't know, but to each their own, I guess.
You guys have a Christmas tree, Scott?
No.
Okay.
No, but I'm never going to turn down eggnog. So that's another.
Personally, I think eggnog is the Mississippi Valley state of beverages.
I do not think you're wrong there, but there is a little bit of alcohol content in there, and that's enough for me.
Fair enough. By the way, Mississippi Valley State failed to cover again yesterday. I had my
The game
doubts.
did not go over though. So
I know they're not an over team, man, because they just don't score.
no, in order for them to be an over team, they got to give up at least 110.
Yeah. Grand Canyon, 30-point favorite.
You tried to step in front of the moving train, and the train was pretty powerful.
I didn't believe it. I didn't believe Grand Canyon could beat anybody by 30, but yet there it was.
It's actually funny you mentioned that. I was going to save that for the basketball show. I found a team in D3 that's worse than Mississippi Valley defensively.
Outstanding.
I found it. I could save that for later.
Okay. Save that little nugget for later. Because today we've got the NFL, Scott. We've got the
Sounds like a good matchup on paper.
We got the Corona Bowl. The Ravens at Steelers. Ravens, 10-point underdog here. The total is 42. Scott, I'm just going to get it out of the way up top. I do have a premium play on this one on the side, but I am free to talk about everything else in this one. So I'm going to let you go and head us off here. Scott, we're missing a few players on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball for the Ravens. I guess the exciting news is they did get their running backs back. They are going to have they're going to have Ingram back and
Dobbins
and J.K. Dobbins back as well. So that's good. No Mark Andrews, no Snead, rookie center, never played a snap in the NFL. Going to be the center.
Not to mention all the offensive line injuries they already had.
Not to mention all the offensive line injuries they were already dealing with. So, Scott, tell me what you got here.
So for this one, I like the under. If it was really going to play it anyway, Pittsburgh could win this game pretty handily. Wouldn't surprise me, but Baltimore always plays them tough. I know, of course, this is a very unique circumstances where Baltimore is sending out, I don't want to say a AAA team, but it kind of feels that way. So I don't really know what to expect from them. The only thing I know is that RG3 talent-wise is kind of similar-ish to Lamar Jackson, where he can run, he can throw a little bit. For the most part, though, you're not fully going to trust his arm to beat you downfield, which has kind of been the issue that Baltimore's offense has had because they don't really have any receivers that can go downfield either. So that's kind of a problem there. I like the under. I think Pittsburgh is going to do whatever they can to try to move the ball, but Baltimore's defense is still pretty solid, and they did give Pittsburgh's offense some serious issues for about, 3 quarters of that first meeting. Of course, Lamar kept turning it over in his own territory, which didn't exactly help the defense. But Pittsburgh's offense was awful for about a half or so, maybe a little bit more. Baltimore's defense, I think, should play well. But at the same point, Pittsburgh's defense is already great. Now they get to tee off against a banged-up offensive line with a backup quarterback with no real weapons. I like the under. I think this game's going to be hideous. I think this game should finish probably around 24-10. I'll take the under.
Does it bother you, all the guys that Baltimore is missing on the defensive side of the ball?
It's not ideal. It's mostly a fate of Baltimore's offense. I think you can go for a Baltimore team total under if you want to. But Pittsburgh's offense, don't get me wrong, of course they're very talented. But something about Baltimore's defense just gives Big Ben fits. And I do think that I think Harbaugh and everyone will come up with a good game plan for Roethlisberger because Pittsburgh's offense, if you remember that game, did nothing for about 2.5 quarters, and the only score they had was based on a pick six and it was either a fumble or an interception by Lamar in his own territory. So they really did nothing. Pittsburgh's offense is good, but Big Ben can be pretty streaky at times, and I know Connor's not going to be playing. I don't think that's that big of a deal because Snell, I think, is a pretty good backup, so I do think he will be able to fill the void. Does make a difference in the pass-catching department because Connor is a much better receiver out of the backfield than Snell is. So for me, I think Pittsburgh can still score 20-something. I just think Baltimore's going to want to run the ball. They're going to want to eat up clock, and at the end of the day, they might just try to get out of the game without trying to get anybody else killed. So I like the under.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I'll tell you what bothers me though about that play is the fact that Baltimore's going to be missing Williams, Calais Campbell, Matthew Judon.
They're missing a bunch of guys. It's not pretty.
This defense isn't going to be the same. I worry.
I think the secondary is still solid.
The secondary is still solid. They still have, they've got Peters and Humphrey. I still contend that Marcus Peters is one of the most overrated players in the NFL. But
we personally disagree on that. But I think Peters is not a shutdown corner by any means. But I think he's this generation's Asante Samuel, where he will either get burned for 70 yards or he'll get an interception for a touchdown. He's the all or nothing corner.
Well, yeah, and he doesn't tackle.
That's definitely true.
That's the other problem with Marcus Peters. So
I always viewed Peters as a big play guy, kind of like an Asante Samuel, and that's how I kind of viewed his career. And I don't really think that's that bad of a comp.
No,
Samuel racked up a bunch of interceptions, but he got burned all the time, which is kind of similar to what Peters has done in his career.
Yeah, if you look at the interceptions that Peters has, a lot of them are just playing center field, man.
Correct. I'm just saying that he's a pretty good center fielder.
Okay. All right. Well, I do know that two teams were pretty unhappy with him to start his career. So
and those are two pretty good coaches who are unhappy with him.
Yeah.
So
absolutely true. So yeah, taking a look at this one, I don't hate your under.
I would lean Pittsburgh as well, but it's just something about Tomlin. I don't know if Baltimore counts as a bad team that they're going to overlook, but with all of the injuries and everything that Baltimore's dealing with, can you see Pittsburgh potentially looking past their biggest division rival? I don't. No. I'm just food for thought.
No, I don't see any way that Mike Tomlin lets him look past this game. I mean,
I'm just saying Tomlin has had some issues with teams overlooking poor opponents, and I'm curious if all the news about Baltimore's injuries, et cetera, are going to just get to Pittsburgh's head and just say, oh, we can probably coast for this one. Probably not, because if they win this game, they basically win the division.
I think Harbaugh's going to give them a little more of a game than people anticipate. I think that's a certain possibility.
That's why I'm a little bit scared of laying the 10 with Pittsburgh, which is why I kind of like the under. Because I think if Baltimore's going to keep this game close, it has to go under. Because there's no way they're going to get into a shootout with all these backups against Pittsburgh. That's just not happening.
No, and I'll tell you, there's a couple of things that kind of flew under the radar.
Okay, cool. By the way, sorry. Instead of the full game, do you like the first half under? I'm assuming you think that Baltimore's going to come out looking somewhat lost offensively, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the problem. Is not only do they have a lot of new pieces on the offensive side of the ball, they haven't had any time to implement them.
That's what I'm saying. So the first half might be hideous.
Yeah, they had one practice, and that was yesterday. That's the first time they've been able to get together and practice as a group. Everything else has been virtual.
And the first half under is a decent look.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
I know you said something to note, and I interrupted you. Sorry.
Well, it's all right. I will take a look here. It's 21. It is split right down the middle for the game. 21 is your first half number there. Shop around, see if you can get 21 and a hook. Might not be.
I'd still lean under there, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree. No, the couple things that have flown under the radar here with all the injuries that could make a difference is their number one. They're missing their fullback Ricard, and that makes a difference when they want to run inside the tackles.
They're one of the only teams left in the league that actually uses a fullback on a regular basis.
Yeah, Chiefs are another one. With
49ers with
Anthony Sherman, with Juszczyk. But they really use Ricard running between the tackles. They send him in motion a lot. Set him up as an H-back, set him up as a wing to lead the play through there. So I think that's going to make a difference. And the other thing could possibly make a difference is their deep snappers out, Scott. And they're missing Morgan Smith, all-pro deep snapper. 11 years he's been doing it under the radar, which is exactly where you want a deep snapper to go. Now, the good news for Baltimore is they do have one on the practice squad that they're ready to elevate. Bad news is never played in a game before. So
I'm more kind of impressed that there is an all-pro for long snappers.
Absolutely.
I know. I'm just saying that's an underrated position that people don't always talk about, because special teams, when it gets bad, it gets really bad, and you could ask any Chargers fan about that one.
Well, yeah, and we saw with Tennessee a couple of weeks ago when their punter, when Kern was out, when they were
that was a disaster.
Yeah, yeah, had one shanked one. You had a nice punt to start with, then had a punt for about 18 yards, then got one blocked.
Yep.
So that makes all the difference. And deep snappers, the same kind of thing. You don't notice it at all until it doesn't work. And one bad snap in enemy position, in enemy territory, can turn the entire game around.
And that's also another thing to mention, because Baltimore has always been a year in, year out top 3 special teams team in the league under Harbaugh. So even if, the kicking game, of course, with Tucker should still be fine, stuff like that. Even the punting, if the snap is a little bit off and throws out the timing, that could drastically impact several net yards.
Yep, and we've got a little bit of weather here. It's going to be like rain, snow throughout the day. Looks like it's going to be clearing out there right about game time, so you may have a little bit of residual left over, but it's going to be chilly. You're going to have a wet field. It's not going to be ideal conditions for snapping the football. So keep an eye on the deep snapper. May be fine. Maybe the kid will step in and do a great job, but you just need one in the wrong spot for totally turn the game around. So keep an eye on the fullback. Keep an eye on the deep snapper. That's what I'm saying to you.
That's fair.
All right, buddy. Anything else from this game?
Unless you want to go on a rant on why this game
why they're playing it, why there seem to be uneven parameters for canceling and or playing games.
I actually wanted to ask you something in addition to that, but we can talk about that first.
No, well, I'm of the opinion that this game should have been postponed. It doesn't. Although I guess the problem is, it seems to be the NFL seems to be taking the position, if it's self-inflicted, if it's easy to trace, if it's somebody doing something they shouldn't be, breaking protocol, then you're on your own.
But how did Baltimore get it? I thought some of them also broke protocol.
They did. Strength and conditioning coach. That's what I'm saying. So
yeah, but I'm saying they broke protocol, but the Broncos didn't, and yet the Broncos had to play with no quarterback.
Broncos absolutely did. They had everybody in the quarterback room without a mask on.
Yeah.
That's the reason those guys all had to go.
I'm just saying that both teams broke protocol to some degree, and yet one team got to delay the game by about 3-4 days, and the other team had to play with no quarterback.
Yeah,
with the NFL's, there's no consistency.
Well, yeah, as far as the delaying goes, yeah, you're absolutely right, and I think that's where the NFL screwed up, because this was a quote unquote marquee game. They wanted to make sure that everybody had a chance to see it, and of course they wanted to put it in prime time. But
it blew up in their faces. I'm just saying that there has to be some type of consistency moving forward. You can't keep doing this.
No, I agree. This is we knew there was going to be a lot of weirdness going on this season. They just absolutely need to be a little more consistent, because the Broncos are the team that really got hosed there. They screwed around and they waited long enough where Baltimore got their running backs back, but I don't know. We knew there was going to be problems. Part of me, looking at the numbers when they canceled the season back in March and the numbers when they're playing now, there really isn't even consistency on why we're even playing these games. But as a fan, and obviously somebody whose livelihood depends on them being played, on one level, I'm happy as a human being and somebody who would like to see this pandemic over as soon as possible, and not thrilled. So
that's fair. But anyway, that kind of drags me to my second point that I was going to ask. It's kind of for a look-ahead line kind of situation.
Yeah.
But you're Baltimore and Pittsburgh both playing right now. I know Baltimore plays the Cowboys on Monday, and you have the Steelers playing Washington on Monday. Are both the Cowboys and Washington blind bets for next week? Just based on spot?
Yeah,
I think Washington's a blind bet for the spot, because they played on Thanksgiving. So they had an even extra couple of days to prepare for that.
Yeah,
game.
they had 11 days to
Both
prepare.
teams did. The Cowboys also played Thanksgiving. So you have two teams that have massive rest advantages against teams that are, playing on a Wednesday. Are those blind bets?
Yeah, it's certainly.
I know Lamar's coming back for the Cowboy game, so I know that that's definitely a thing as well. But I know I'll personally be having a little bit of Washington money in my pocket.
Yeah, I don't think that's terrible. There's no lineup on the Baltimore game right now. There is a line on the.
I see Washington's around 10.
I got him at 9 on Bet Online.
I was gonna say that line's gonna plummet. I don't know who's gonna be taking Pittsburgh besides the public on 4 days of rest.
Yeah,
I mean, that's brutal.
Yeah, that's indeed brutal. They'll have a rested cornerback. That'll make a difference. But
I think Washington could win the game.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to, but I think that for a long shot money line as a plus 10 underdog, I think they could win the game.
Well, plus Washington's playing pretty good football right now.
Yeah, as long as Washington's the secret to beating Pittsburgh is to just not turn the ball over. I'm not saying that they're going to be able to do that, but Washington with Alex Smith should at least limit turnovers to some degree. I mean, we could save that for a couple days from now. I'm just saying if you have an option to take Washington now at plus 10, I think you probably should consider pulling the trigger on that.
Yeah, I agree because it's already gone down to 9 in some spots.
That was my segue.
All right, there you go. That's going to be segue to the end, buddy, because that's all I got. You anything else on this game?
No. Hopefully this game is watchable. I don't know if it will be, but we'll find out.
That's going to be and I think I misspoke. I think I said 3:40 Central Time. It's actually going to be 2:40 Central, 3:40 Eastern. So Good times. You know what? At least we got a little NFL football in the middle of the afternoon on a Wednesday.
I'm not complaining. It's just a matter of how we got to this point is kind of laughable from the NFL's perspective.
How very 2020 of us.
Yep.
All right, man. As always, if you guys are got some good plays cooked up for today on the NFL, put them in the comments section. We want to know what they are. I've got like I said, I got a premium on the side. If you're interested in that, you can check it out. And I've also got a pick of the day, kind of a funky prop bet that ties into some of the things that we were talking about. So check out my daily video. Scott, I know you did a video. Oh, no, wait, you did Eastern Michigan.
I had an Eastern Kentucky game, actually, so watch yourself.
Sorry. That's right. So all of you that are excited about getting down on the Eastern.
If you want some college basketball, some very obscure stuff on ESPN Plus, then you can check out my video.
There you go. And, of course, if you're looking for an even deeper dive into this game, check out winnersandwhiners.com. Updated information on all the stuff that's going on. Very fluid situation.
Yeah, I think that my motto for my videos, by the way, since they're not the most popular games, I follow the Al Davis philosophy. Just win. Okay. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to win games.
All right. And if you bet on a game and nobody watches, is it a win still?
Ask the people in their bankrolls if that still counts, and I'm sure you'll get some very interesting reactions.
All right, there you go.
You weren't into Russian ping pong when that was happening at 3 a.m. and nobody was watching the games, but it turns out they were all fixed in the first place.
Well, you can bet on fixed games as long as you're on the right side.
No, but I'm saying that you're saying if you bet on it but nobody watches it. I mean, people were betting on Russian table tennis at 4 a.m. So, people, desperate times call for desperate measures, man.
You're right. Okay, good enough. Check out Scott's video on Eastern
Kentucky and South Carolina upstate. Get excited on that one.
Or if you want to check out a game that's actually going to be on TV, you can check out my video on this game.
Or you can check out both. That's always an option. It's all free anyway.
Check out both. They're quick. They're free. What else you doing?
Yep.
All right, there you go. And make sure you check out winnersandwhiners.com for deep dives into not just this game, but the Eastern Kentucky, South Carolina upstate game as well, if you're interested in that one. We got them both. That's a great thing about Winners and Whiners. So check that out as well. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hang tight because Scott and I are going to be talking about a couple of marquee college basketball matchups here on the next video. But for this one, we're out. For myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at Winners and Whiners, we appreciate you stopping by. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into cash money back at the window. And we'll see you on the next video on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everybody.